My name is Len Edwards. I am Don Edwards' eldest son, and I have been a judge in Santa Clara County for 26 years, but I'm retired now. But I'm so proud to be here at the preserve. This is the preserve that my father started when he was in Congress back in the 80s and 70s. This was a vision of his that started just with an idea, and then he worked his power and influence in Congress to get money and a bill that outlined what the preserve was going to be. He was a very powerful congressman. He was called the Dean of the California Congressional Delegation, which is the largest delegation in the United States Congress, and persuaded them and his other colleagues to create the preserve, the first and largest urban preserve in the country. Well, that was just the beginning. And then what's happened through the years is that it's grown. And now it's connected with other preserves. And everyone has the same goal. And the goal is to set aside land for nature. Set aside land that will not be developed. And so that when we drove across the bay today, we had all these cars, but when we got here, there wasn't a big hotel, there wasn't development. Instead, we saw mud and ducks and little creatures that are able to thrive in this environment because we believe in nature. We believe that human beings have to have some limits on what they develop so that the rest of the planet can thrive. So what he did to make certain that his dream would come true is that every new elected congressperson in the Bay Area, he would sit down with them and say, this is an important project. I need you to support me 100%. And they did. It's because he cared about people, he was honest, he was very hardworking, and people respected him because of those traits. He also knew how to accomplish things, and so when he started something, people realized if they joined him, they'd be successful. I was a civil rights worker in the 60s, and I went down to Mississippi with students, and it was a very dangerous time. He was a freshman congressman. This is 1964. He joined me in Mississippi several times at great risk, and people in Washington were very disturbed because he came in with some ideas about how Congress should be, and little by little, Congress changed. They took out the House Un-American Activities Committee, which was very politically popular, but he showed that it was not a good committee and was being unfair to many Americans. On civil rights, he helped write the civil rights legislation that Lyndon Johnson wrote. He was part of the House Judiciary Committee that impeached President Nixon. He was a man doing lots of things that all focused on being a good public person on important issues to people in the country. This is why it's so important. This preserve is accessible to everyone. It's what politicians should be doing, is thinking about everyone, not just the rich, not just the privileged, but opening nature to everyone. Particularly when we have great nature in California, probably as good as any in the country or the world. But a lot of people can't get in the car and drive 4 or 5 hours to get to the Sierras or other places. But anybody in the Bay Area can come to the Don Edwards Preserve and enjoy nature. And there's much more to do. The Alviso portion of the preserve needs renovation, and I was talking to several people here today about how that's going to happen. But we're never going to go backwards with this. We're going to continue to build and add pieces around the Bay Area to continue to make this the largest urban preserve in the country.